Hello and welcome to IT Security Labs, and today we have a good one. We are actually attacking a machine from Vulnhub called Shuriken, and this is a free machine that you can download and launch in VirtualBox and then be able to attack it and do what we're going to be doing here. We have our Security Onion intrusion detection lab in place, so we'll be intercepting traffic as we do the attack, so we can actually come back here and look at some logs as well and be able to see what's going on in our environment. So this is going to be super fun for anyone who is brand new here. We do these labs where we actually do hands-on information security learning. We download machines from Vulnhub, put them in our lab, attack them, then also generate some attack traffic like what we have here. So you get to learn how to do the attack into this lab that you have here. I've actually added more things here. I added Splunk, and I also added SolarWinds Log and Events Manager that I can show you at the end, but this lab has actually grown. So thank you for being here. Betty, it's good to see you, man. So if you haven't created this lab, I have 12 videos that will show you how to create the lab. And once you create the lab, you can also get the detection component of the lab that shows you data like this here, where you can actually attack. So like I said earlier, our machine today is called Shuriken, and this is a really good machine. It was created on November 13, 2020 by Lone Wolf. It's a really great machine, and I learned a lot just going through it. So I will show you the few things that I learned, and also share with you some tips and tricks that you're going to see here. You'll learn a whole lot more than other machines that are very straightforward. So as always, let's start by running our Nmap scan here. Okay, let's go to my machines, make directory, and name it Shuriken. And then let's go there. So this is where I'm going to be working in, and I'll run with my nmap -sv -sc 192.168. Where is this machine? I do have a DHCP server here, so let's find out where this machine is. So it's running in VirtualBox. This is the machine right here. This is my VirtualBox manager, but I also have a DHCP server that is running in Windows. So let's go and figure out what the IP address of our machine is. In this case, it's 192.168.38.29. You can run net discover if you wanted to, but in this case, we're just going to use the IP address that we know from our DHCP server. So it's 38.29. All right. So Nmap in this case use the SV to find service versions using default scripts in this case. And this will scan for the top 1000 ports. So you need another one as well. You see this one is done. You need another one that says P-P like that. This will scan all 6500 ports or whatever the number is. So this is what you need as soon as you are done with this. In this case, we're not going to run with -P because we already have port 80 and 8080. 8080 is filtered. Looks like a proxy or whatever, but that's fine. We have port 80 here. Let's go and check it out. I'm going to use Chrome today in Kali. Jerome, how's it going, man? It's good to see you. All right, so let's go to our IP address here. 38.29. All right, so we know that there's this web server there. Let's run derb. Derb is going to brute force the server for any directories. HTTP 192.168.38.29. So derb is going to do that. Once in a while, I'll run GoBuster, but derb is my first one. Then I'm using the common word list.txt. If things go south here and I don't find anything, I'll change this word list to big.txt or a different one from my cheat sheet. But for now, it looks like this is going super quick. Everything is going super fast. All right, so derb is already done. There's a secret, which is interesting. Then there's another one called JS. Let's check JS, then check secret. JS usually stands for JavaScript. So as you can see, we have two. Now that is interesting. You open that. It looks like a bunch of gibberish. I'll show you how we can read these JavaScripts in a better way in Chrome. That's why I deployed Chrome here. But let's look at the secrets. Nothing. Okay. We got some JavaScript here. All right. Before we did that, we wanted to see what kind of website do we have. Let's figure out what kind of website is this. Is this WordPress? Because if it's WordPress, then we'll be in luck. But if it was WordPress, we'd have seen the /admin. And looks like we have a place where we can enter an email address to subscribe and say something. These are places where we can potentially do some injections. We can sign in. The sign in button doesn't respond. You can click on it. Oh, it does. Let's see what it says. Admin. Okay. Right here, I'm looking for an error. In this case, there is not even an error. Forgot password is a good one. You want to click there to see if you can reset a password. Think of OWASP top 10. This is what I'm looking at here. Weak credentials and all that stuff. In this case, nothing. All right. So the login page, we can brute force that as well, but brute forcing is going to be our last resort. We always want to poke around before we start brute forcing anything. And that's at least my my goal. And we see we have two JavaScript files here. These ones are the ones that live in the /js. So we're dealing with a web application to begin with. So let's go ahead and figure out what those JavaScripts are doing. So we use the inspect in Chrome. All right. So in the inspect, mine is already bigger. You might have to move it around by doing this. What we are looking for, let's go to the sources. We should be able to see a folder with JavaScript. Let's go and look at those scripts in detail because there's a reason why they're there. They're doing something. Pretty print is going to show us that. And if you can read JavaScript, you will be able to read all this and figure out what it's doing. But right away, you'll be able to see that there's a bunch of things here that are interesting. For example, here, we're referring to HTTP shuriken.local index PHP referrer is equals to. This, if you think of OWASP top 10 again, this equals to gives us the file inclusion vulnerability where we can, is it a remote or local file inclusion that we can come here and do ... and slashes, because that's what this is hinting for us. In addition to that, we need to add shuriken.local to our Etsy host. So let's go ahead and add this entry to our Etsy host so we can actually resolve that. Okay, so right in here, should have used nano. Let's put our IP address here, 38.29. And if you joined us a little later, we just found out that this thing is running a few JavaScripts. Our machine is running JavaScript on the site. And I just found out that we also have, oh, okay. All right, that copied the whole thing. Okay, let's do this. Let's clean this up. I should have just typed it in. All right. let's remove everything that is here and fix our, okay, so we had one shuriken.local. All right, let's check the other one as well. So that's what we found out here, and we found that there's this referrer URL. Let's copy that link, and I'm going to put it in my OneNote, quick notes. Let's remove these from last time and put that here. That's interesting. You didn't copy my actual note. Okay, we'll remember this referrer.local. Actually, let's check the other one as well. Print pretty. And usually you should be able to figure out what it's doing. And here you see that we have a different one, broadcast.shuriken.local. So we have two. Let's go back here and tell it that we have .shuriken.local. All right, so we found out that we have these domain names here, shuriken.local and broadcast.shuriken.local. The reason why I'm adding them in here is so that when I type on my machine this name, it will resolve to this IP address automatically. And also if I type broadcast, it will also resolve here. And you can put them one after another. As you can see, I've done it on Hack the Box, where I also found some subdomains pretty much. And that's what we do. And then let's exit and save this. If you just wanted to test it, you can just do a ping. If you wanted to make sure that it's working, but of course it should work. There you go. It's resolving to our IP address. All right, now that it's resolving to our IP address, let's find out if this is going to send us to a different IP. Shuriken.local first. Okay, it wants me to, of course, put the HTTP. All right, so this doesn't give us anything special. Let's put broadcast. Broadcast looks interesting. Broadcast wants us to sign in with a username and password. We don't have a username and password here. So that's interesting. We need to find out if we can check this one. Try admin. Admin. We don't even know what type of site this is, but it's running custom JavaScript. Your connection to site is not private. Okay, yeah, we know that. All right, so looks like we have more work to do here other than just figuring out. So we need to be able to get in there. Remember, we saw that in our JavaScript here. I need to refresh this for it to come back again. And we found this part here where it says index equals to. Let's go to here and try to see what we can do. We can test local file inclusions, and this is one of the OWASP top 10. The easiest way to do this is you can do I put 4 like that. Then I say etc /pass wd. That's a file that I know that is in the system. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to abuse this. If this is actually a file inclusion vulnerability, we should be able to see the etc password. But it depends on what type of site this is. Did we see from our nmap if this was an Apache site? I think it's Apache. This shouldn't take. I forgot to check the version of Apache from our nmap scan, but let's check this to see if this works. All right, this doesn't do anything on this site. Let's copy it and use curl just in case it's doing something in the back. All right, yes, it's Apache version 2.4, which might or may not be vulnerable, but this looks like a really earlier version, and it would not be a very fun machine if this was just vulnerable. So let's put that to the end, sudo su. I'm just going to do a curl. I'm not going to even output to anything. I just want to see if I can see anything here. No, it's just giving me the output of the page, just like it is doing there. So if that doesn't work, my next move is to double these. If I double these and if they don't work, then I give up and I move on. In this case, since this is Apache, I'll try some default Apache pages, configuration files that I know are on the system. And you can simply Google like Apache default configuration file locations, and it will give you the directories. And you can try to find those as well if etc password doesn't work. All right, in this case, we are in business. Double backslashes, forward slashes, or backslashes actually work. So we know that this system here is vulnerable to, and it shows us our data here. I'm just looking at our users here, which may be interesting for us or not. All right, so since it's vulnerable, let's check some default configuration files for our server. In this case, we have Apache. In this case, we can just say, let's Google it. Something like that. If you didn't know about them, where they are, we should be able to find them. Okay, here's how to configure. You can see where they are. Which one should we pick? It's 2.4, so this should give us some information. I'm just expecting a table. Okay, we know that there's an HTTP access file. Let me find something that is actually nicer looking here. We just need to find out where are those default configuration files that we can hopefully access. And here somebody who is configuring it, they are actually telling us this is 2.4. So let's see. All right, I can seem to figure out an easy article, but if you look them up on the Apache default configuration files, somebody has them listed somewhere, and you should get familiar. Oh, there we go. Let's try these. Let's see Apache 2 conf. Let's try that with our curl command. And in this case, we're just removing that, replacing it with our Apache files. Yes, we can see some configuration files here. And what we're looking for here is any information that can tell us about the configuration for the server. vhost is one of them. In this case, we have this one, which is asking us to sign in. So that one, we should be able to access that username and password if this was configured using Apache, using the .http pass file. So we can look in here to find out if it's defined somewhere. In fact, we can look up its default location as well. All right, so this one doesn't show us anything. Let's go back. Let's see. Okay, we got another one here. I don't think those are the ones. Let's try this one. And then if they're talking about .http access here, this is the one that we'll be checking in a second here. But yeah, let's try this one. And paste. All right, this one is giving us similar information. Then there is one more file that we have. I have it here. Give me 1 second. It's the default conf 00 default conf. That's the one that I'm going for here. But I just want to show you the process so in order to get to it. If you actually keep trying the default ones, this is the same. There is this HC Apache 2. In this case, is a 00 default conf. If you open that one for this server, we should be able to. Let's clear this. Let's try it again. All right. If we open that one, you will see that in here, this is where it's defining the virtual host on port 80. This is really good information. And then we have Shuriken.local here, and this is where it's defining broadcast of Shuriken.local, which is really good. And right here, actually, auth file, because we are trying to sign into the broadcast.shuriken.local subdomain, those users have to authenticate somewhere. And in this case, it's giving us a location. Auth file is saying the users are located here. So from here, we can say, okay, great. Let's do the same deal. Let's remove this and go and find the users. And if they were saved in plain text, we should see them all. And in this case, there is only one user. And the user is developers. All right. So now that we found the developers from this HTTP access, which we found it from the virtual host file, we can go and crack this password using John or Hydra or any of your favorite password cracking tools. Let's put this one. I will use nano #23. I will name it #1 or 2, just in case I have one. #hash. I'm using nano, and let's paste it in here. Then let's save. Now let's use John, or we can use hashcat. And my usage here for John is just John hash file, then pointing to roq.txt. So let's just do that. John is what we use to crack passwords and password hashes. John #2 .hash. It doesn't have to have the .hash. It can be any extension really. John will be able to read it, or without an extension. In this case, we're trying to see if we can crack that. And that was okay. Let's see what. Oh, okay. No passwords left to crack is because I've used John to crack this before. I thought if I name it something different. Okay, let's name this something like #5. And then let's copy it again. Where was it? Okay, so you saw the syntax. Let's go and read the hash that I cracked earlier, just in case John keeps complaining here. Control X. Okay. In this case, I'm going to try it again. In this case, let's just move that. let's move it to #6. Try with John. Okay, so if you see something like this, this means that when you run John is able to tell right away that we already cracked this hash. So the hash is already there. Let's see. How do I read the ones that I already added there? All right, so I'm just going to tell you that I cracked this one earlier, and that's why John is not able to crack it. But the password that we have here, how do I read passwords from John? Let me find out how I can quickly read passwords from John. John H. Okay, this is our option -- show. So John is going to show us the password. #6. All right, there it is. So we cracked the password, and it's developers, and the password is whatever this number is. So let's go ahead and sign in. And this is just the beginning. I told you that this machine is super fun. This is just the beginning of what we're doing here. It even gets more fun when you get to the shell. All right, so we sign in. We don't need that. Here you need a quick eye right away. Look up here. See, it says Clip Bucket 4.0. That is a version number. Every time you see a CMF or a website with a version, first thing that I do before I even poke around with it is I go and Google it. Clip Bucket 4.0 exploit. There we go. Google even automatically completes it for me. And as you can see, we do have an exploit. I would go to search exploit to figure out if there is a Metasploit module, but we're trying to not use Metasploit, so we're going to do this manually here. It looks like our clip bucket here has an exploit, and it looks like a photo management software. We can put photos in here or whatever we can do, like a collection. Maybe think of, yeah, right now we don't have any. We don't have any photos. We don't have any video. Like your own personal Netflix at home, maybe. So if you joined us later, we're just completing the machine called Shuriken. We found the credentials here from the HTTP password file in on our server, and we found that using some enumeration methods for web applications. I learned this from OSCP Top 10 on Hack the Box, and also Try Hack Me. If you complete both parts, they will show you these methods that I was doing here, just messing around. So Clip Bucket version 4 has a vulnerability, and in this case, if we read through this, it's actually not a script, but it tells us that we can upload files. Oh, that is good news, because I was already thinking of injecting my PHP reverse shell here. So if we can upload files, I'm going to upload a PHP reverse shell from Pentest Monkey. And if it takes them without complaining, that's good. If it complains, we need to intercept the request with burp and change the extension. And in this case, if you read through this, it's giving us that we're saying we need to run the curl command with -f. Then we specify a file here. Then this, you can leave the way it is. And the name, you can name it whatever you want. Then you can put the full link for the site here. This is unauthenticated. We do have authentication though. So it's also available for authenticated users here, as you can see. We can use their cookies. But yeah, let's use one of these. Let's copy this one and we can create our own. Make sure that it works for us. Let's go to quick notes. Let's formulate this to make it work for us. Let's paste it here. All right, first thing first, I need to put a PHP file here. Let's figure out if I have a PHP reverse shell on my curly. And by the way, we are actually still intercepting the traffic. So let's go to, if I do a cat sh.php, I use this all the time. I keep it here for this specific reason. This is a pentest monkey PHP reverse shell. In this case, let's figure out what I've set it set to. You can download this from the internet. It doesn't have my IP address here, so let's change that. Those who have been here for a while, you know that I was not using Nano. I used to use VI. Now I'm trying to get used to Nano, so I can at least be good at both. Here, I need to put the IP address of my attacking machine, 38.133. That's my Kali Linux. And for port, why don't we get in the habit of using common port? Let's use port, I was going to say 53. The reason is, in most cases, when you're doing normal pentest environment engagements, you want to use ports that are already allowed, or you can use port 123 for NTP. Usually people allow those ports. That is if you're leaving their network. We can use port 53, but for the sake of my detection, actually let's use 53. You think 53 will be picked up? Yeah, that will be picked up. All right, now that I have my sh.php, that one, if I upload it, it will call back here on port 53. So all I need to do is netcat -lv np L for listen. This is going to be verbose on port 53. In this case, we're just going to listen on port 53 for now. So our shell that we're going to upload is sh.php. Let's go out here and fix that. sh.php. I don't care what this is, and the name, they can leave it that way. Here I need to put the URL that I'm actually using. In this case, let's go for I think I will do it as a photo. So this is how you would approach this vulnerability if you faced it. You come and replace that. Command V. All right, so that's what we have there. Let me make sure that it's correct, and we can quickly let's remove this parrot one. All right, let's read where was that actually. Photo uploader.php. Okay, here. I need to make sure that it's right. It's going to be under the photo uploader.php, not what I had it there. So let's fix that. Make sure it works. All right, and since we are authenticated, we need to specify our user here. Our user is developers, and we have a password of whatever that was. Let me find it here. Okay, it's going to look like that. All right. And the password of 99, whatever this is, let's copy it. All right, so this is what we did. We read from the vulnerability that we found online that if we do this, in this case, we're putting our own file here. In this case, it's sh, not with ed. This is the file, uploader 1, broadcast shuriken.local, action photo uploader, and then we put our user here. And in this case, let's put a space. Let's try it. So if we try that, here we're already listening. If there's a syntax error, it will tell us. If it succeeds, it also tells us. Do it from where the file is located. sh.php is located here. Let's find out. Okay, message failed to move uploaded files ID. Okay, we have a syntax error here. Let's figure out why. Okay, I think I know why. Is it because my upload file is not correct? Let's figure out why this thing didn't run. It didn't like what it's calling ID. Maybe let's remove this space here. All right. We do have a syntax error here. Let's track it down. Curl that file. Name. Shuriken photo uploader.php. User developers. That. Do I still need the @ Curious. I'm glad I had this one. Let me try it with again, just in case I messed it up. Let's try it again. This is what it should be. Oh, my URL didn't have broadcast. Let's try this again. ID. So that means that there is an uploaded file on my system. Let's change the ID to 2. Just in case we succeed here. Or copy sh.php to sh2.php. What I think happened here is my machine didn't reset when I reset it, so I already have sh.php there. That's what I suspect is happening. So let's put 2. All right. Move uploaded file ID. I'm going to try it one more time. Instead of any name, I'm just going to add 3 there. This is interesting. Let me check here just in case somebody helped me. Yeah, we're trying to make sure that this exploit works, and this actually happens all the time where these things don't work, so we need to figure out why it's not doing that. Failed to move uploaded file ID root. So we say curl f upload 1. The name, we just named it whatever here. local action file uploader u999. All right, so this should work. We change the name of the file here. Let's go back here and check it. Where is our developer? Okay, so according to our exploit, we can actually check this to make sure that we actually see. This should save the file in a place called, this should save the file with today's date in the photos. Action photo uploader.php. Okay, let's check it again. Why is this not working? HTTP broadcast, unless if my, no, this is working properly. User developers. Let me try something else here. If I name this one 2, no. All right, I'm going to go back here and change this. Let's go to slash, is it photos? All right, we should be able to go back there and see if we have photos. Recent, photos today. Where was that? All right, so this exploit is not working for us. We need to figure out why it's not working. Unless if I crashed this, I might have to reset the machine, but we're going to figure out why it's not working. And this happens all the time. Every exploit doesn't run on the first try. So if you run into issues, make sure to check to make sure that your exploits are also not running. I had a note. That is not the one. Yeah, it's not working. I'm not sure why. Let me check here. Give me 1 second. All right, let's go to slash files, slash photos. Let's put 01. Actually, the date is 2021/01. My machine, the time is not synchronized. It's saying 18. Let's see if there's something here. Okay, so this is where the file should be if it worked properly. And this is how the system works. So we need to get a file here and make sure that it works. And in that case, cat sh.php. Okay. We're going to go back here and figure out why it's not working, because we cannot move on without it working. File, any name, HTTP broadcast, photo uploader, user developers. That should work. To move uploaded file ID. Is it possible they needed the @ I doubt they do. Really? So you see, these things happen all the time. I was reading the exploit here, and they did have the @ and I removed it during my, this right here, I actually highlighted it. This @ right here, I removed it and my file didn't go. So after adding that @ it succeeded. And it's giving me the date here, 2021 01/18. All right, so that is fun. Now you know that these things don't always work. You need to really look and be confident that you are doing the right thing, and just look closely and try a few different things. So it succeeded. If we go back to that location where I was showing you, now if I refresh this, I should have a file here. Here's my reverse shell with a random name. I just need to make sure I'm listening on port 53. If I click on that reverse shell, I should spawn a shell here. Watch what happens. This should hang, and if I go back here, and I'll go to shell. That is a PHP reverse shell from Pentest Monkey. Very super easy to use. So now that we're here, we know that we are www data. We are nothing really but www data. So let's fix this. And make sure that it works. So I'm just fixing this because I don't like shells that don't work, and I always use Python for that. And also because I like to clear my screen. All right, so now that I did that, sudo -l, can I run anything as sudo? Good news, I can. npm. Don't know much about that npm, but that is good to know. ls here, ls -la, figuring out, clear. Okay, we'll figure out that sudo -l, the ntm thing, see if we can abuse that. But let's check the home directory, see if we have interesting stuff there. We have another user, server management. Can we access their stuff? No, we can't. We are aware that they are there. ls -la. Okay, so www data doesn't have much other than this. Well, we are in luck. We have Google, sudo npm shell. What do I do with npm? I don't know much about npm. There we go. There's a lot of people talking about how to abuse that. While it's doing that, we can actually just, okay. So here is some usage for npm if we're not familiar with it. This will not tell me much, but if I wanted to, I can run this as server management and figure out what it's doing. Sudo -u, you need to specify the user. So it's saying, even though we are www data, we can run as server management. And then we can see what it does. All right, we get help because we don't know how to run this. This is for Node.js applications. If you are not familiar with that, I've seen it twice on Hack-the-Box. I don't program there. I don't know much, except I've done it. There's a machine on Hack-the-Box where I had to write a Node.js application and abuse this thing. So that's what we have here. I'll show you how we can do it. because you're going to really like this part. So now that we have it here, and we know that we can run Node.js or npm here, and we get some help. What I found out is that we can create a quick application, and I have a help page here that I pulled up on how to create Node.js applications or packages. We can execute a package using those pseudo privileges that we have, and we can create our own here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create one of these packages, and within these packages we can create a script right here. And since we are running this thing with pseudo privileges, what we can do is we can just make this part to spawn a shell. Since we are running it with pseudo privileges, it's going to give us pseudo permissions for whoever ran that command, in this case management. So we're going to pivot from www data to management if we put our script right here. And here's how we do it. I know these things are very particular about syntax, so I copy the whole thing, and I just googled how to create a package .json that works for Node, and that's what we have there for npm. So to do that, you can try to create it in here in the temp folder, but as you will notice, this thing is hard to write in here. The easiest one would be to write it back on our machine. In this case, we can just say nano, what is the name? What is the name that was given to our package when we were looking at it here? Package.json. Yeah, that's what we want to name it. Like that. So if you give it package.json name, npm will already know that if you tell it to execute package.json files, it will execute them. So that's what we're doing here, and I'm creating on my machine, but I'm pasting the whole thing because I'm paranoid about syntax, and I don't want it to give me a hard time. So, but I know that I don't need all this other stuff. I can leave them in there, but I don't need all this other stuff. I'm going to delete everything up to the author. Or you can create it if you know the syntax. I'm just not too confident, and I don't want to leave extra stuff in here because it will give me syntax error if I remove it all the way up to here. Or I can even remove the author, but why not put our signature here? I do this just in case somebody comes to if I'm doing hack the box, if somebody's there, like, hey, oh, did you see my script? So I remove everything that's in here. We can put a reverse shell here and ask this to phone back and create another shell. Or should we do that? I'm tempted to do that. Or we can just do a slash bin bash. This is where the script goes. Let's leave everything the same, even the name to test, it doesn't matter for now. Let's leave it as a test, and we know that our script name is test to be able to execute it later. Command X, Y for yes, cat package.json, and here we go. This is the most important thing here. Everything that we did in here was just so that it runs and it sees it in the right syntax. So it's not the curious package that you have seen there. If you wanted, you can come and name it whatever. I'm leaving it the same. Then all I need to do is move it to my victim machine. For that, I've got my file transfer. I'm going to launch Python simple HTTP on port 8080. And I need to remember this. I'm hosting it here. Going to my victim machine. I'm in the temp folder in do wget. http 192.168.38.133. That's my Kali on port 8080, and I want the package.json. Nope, no. Okay, that's not a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to use curl instead. In this case, we just use curl for this. Paste that. Oh, come on. Okay. Yeah, we cannot write in here. Whoa, what happened there? Oh, that's just my package.json. Okay. Let's go and use curl. We're almost there. And once we move, we're pivoting from www data to another person. And once we become them, minus O for output package.json. All right, so we're using curl because www data didn't like that. So let's use that. Curl works. So we have an out here. Okay, so now that we have our package.json, let's go back to our initial syntax here. Remember sudo -l, say that we can run this. We know that npm executes package.json files, and that's why we created that. How about we do it again? Sudo -user, in this case it's server -management. We want to run that. The option for this one to be able to execute that package, in this case, is the where did I put my help? I think it's execute package. Give me 1 second here. Let me find the npm options. We can Google that as well. But we should be able to, okay. In this case, it's, give me 1 second. I need to find out how do I run my script quickly here? Oh yeah, it's for it to run the package.json, we can run install first. So what it's going to do is it's going to install and look in the temp folder for that package.json file. Then the next option is to run the script after we install it. Look at that. So that is good. It succeeded in the installation. Now that it installed, all we need to do is rerun that command again and say run -script. In this case, our script's name is called test. We were too lazy to change it. Is it run -script? Test in this case. Yeah. If it works properly, we're going to notice that our user is going to change from www data to server management, because that's who is running as sudo in this case. Awesome. So it worked here, and as you can see, it shows you where it executed. So this is my second time running into this npm application. So I'll add that to my bag of tricks, and I know that that's what I do with it, and you can also add it to yours. Now that we are at server management, let's do it again. Sudo -l. Okay, we don't have it, so I'm just want it to time out here. 3 times is the charm. All right, so server management doesn't have sudo privileges. We need to be able to escalate this to become a root. Let's go back to my notes here. Under my privilege escalation, first thing that I do is look for SIDs. This will be the easiest low-hanging fruit here. if we can find one. And this will look for any anything that is SRD set up. Yeah. So let's figure out what's happening here. I try to avoid running lean enum. Enum for Linux until the end. So in this case, we are not seeing fun stuff here. Oh, I see ping. Curious about that one. Can I abuse ping? This is where we go to check. Hping, I can actually abuse hping 3. No, that's not ping. All right. More work here. We can look at some of these. I don't see some that might be interesting. I see sudo here, but sudo su is not going to give me anything for sure. Let's clear that for now, and ls. Oh, okay. We found a flag here. So there's our first flag. Oh, ls minus la. Oh, daily job progress report. Nothing. What is that? It's a PDF document. But this word daily here made me think of our friend crontab. All right, so here you can find this with you can find this if you ran enum for Linux. I was just prompted by this word daily here. I was wondering, well, is this a backup? But looks like we have one here. Backups server.sh. So if you just joined us later, we're trying to escalate our privileges now. We were able to pivot from www data to here, abusing some service that is running here. And now we just found out that we are running a cron job. On these capture the flags, there's a reason why they put this thing here. Okay, backups, and look what we have. Our good friend. Backups with asterisks. We did this 2 weeks ago, was it? No, last week. We just did this exact exploit last week, where we're saying if somebody's backing up to a file using the tar command, in this case they're actually using this one here, and they are backing up everything that is in here, every single file, we can create what are called checkpoints. So when you use the tar command, you can specify that you want a checkpoint. And what a checkpoint is you tell your backup to stop and do an activity. Say you can tell your backup to stop, say if it had been running for 10 minutes, and check the disk space to make sure that you don't run out of disk space. So you can create what are called checkpoints. And the way we're going to abuse this one here is we're going to create a checkpoint. Instead of checking disk space, we're going to execute shell, because you can create a checkpoint and say stop, do something, and we can abuse this right here, this wildcard here. So that's why you don't want to back up everything with a wildcard like that. Let's check who this is running as. If it's running as root, then we will be in business, then it will be done. All right, yeah, it's running as root. So that's our way to get to root here. We're going to exploit the tar command. If somebody's going to create backups using tar, they are going to create a checkpoint. That's what we're going to put in here. So the checkpoint we'd have to put in the directory where it's writing to. In this case, we are actually in luck. It's actually writing to our location. We are server management is writing to our documents file. So we just put the checkpoint in here, and then we execute whatever command we want. In this case, we can execute a reverse shell, or we can just add ourselves to sudoers. Let me share with you what that looks like. I put these notes last time after we saw this. Yeah, here. So here is my notes from last time. This is how we create the. Okay, I will explain what these ones are doing, but if you wanted, we do have a reference that I put for myself here. I can share with you. It's a very easy one. So this is an easy. I put it in the comments there. Let's see if we can just do this right now. Actually, I don't want to get a reverse shell. This is what we did last time, if you remember. I don't want to get a reverse shell. Instead, I actually want to add myself to the etc. Yeah, I want to add myself to the etc. You know what? Let's just reuse this then. I was going to add myself to the sudoers file and call it a day, but since we're already here, we already have our exploit written here. Let's try it with this. All right, so first thing is we're going to create a checkpoint. In this case, our checkpoint is not in the var ww like what we did here. So we're going to remove that. We need to make sure we know this was in the var ww last time. We are not in there today. Then we need to create the bed.sh like that. Let me see, where was I? I think I had it somewhere as well. Did I have tar here? Let me search my notes here. I know I had better notes than that. All right, there. So I need to consolidate my notes. Yeah, I had these ones from hacking articles as well. Let me share with you those. These ones are cleaner. These ones are the ones that I used for this particular exploit here. So I'll explain what it's doing here. I'm echoing. This is going to add me to the sudoers file so that I don't have to get a reverse shell like last time. And I'm going to name it demo.sh. Then I'll create a checkpoint named demo.sh. And then I don't need this one here. In this case, since it's running every 2 minutes, exploit it that way. So let's go ahead and do this right here. I'm going to create this demo.sh. That's my exploit. That's the exploit that will be called by my checkpoint. When the tar command runs and it reaches my checkpoint, it's going to execute demo.sh, and that's what's inside of demo.sh. So let's run all these three together. Oh. I hope you never forget this exploit, because I don't. If I see this in the OSCP, that will be an easy giveaway, because I have notes for it. All right, so we're in the documents file. Let's go ahead and paste the first one. Just going to leave it to demo.sh. And then this one. If you're wondering where I found this specific one, let me show you. I literally copied this from an article where I was learning about this. Here. This is, if you wanted to do the sudoers part, this is where I found it. This is the code. I'm literally echoing this part here and putting server.management there, exactly the way it is. Awesome. All right, so let's keep going here. We got our demo.sh. Now let's go to create the checkpoint and point it to my demo.sh file. That's creating the checkpoint. If I do an ls here, you'll see that they're actually creating the files with those quotes. Then of course I need to create the checkpoint. But before, and paste, right, clear. What I'm doing is I'm just adding myself to the sudoers file. If I do my sudo -l, remember I said sudo -l, I wasn't part of the sudoers, it's asking me for a password. If I wait for 2 minutes here, it will execute the backup and it will give me sudo permissions. Then I'll just be able to switch to user or do whatever I want here. Awesome. So let's wait a couple minutes here. I'll give it a minute. Let's go back to Security Onion. We haven't been there. We haven't checked in on how much noise we're doing here. What have we captured during this attack that we were doing? Look at all this noise. We were not being careful at all. We got caught. Even remember that HTTP password? Let's follow this one. You can just click there and drill down. This should show us reading the HTTP password. And it's seeing it as information leak, of course. Here. This is what we did. So we caused a lot of noise. We can look at it in a little bit here, because I'm very curious how much we did. We caused a lot of trouble. We can see this in Kibana. And in a minute, my script should execute from the cron job. And we should also be able to see that we are root and read the root privilege there. Oh, look at that, 250,000 events. And this is the graph that shows us spiking here as we were brute forcing and doing things. So we did capture a few things. We'll look at that in a second here. Now let's rerun sudo -l. All right, just like what we expected, we added ourselves to the sudoers file by adding this line here. We added server management to all permissions. So now that we're there, can I do sudo bash? Yeah. Now I'm root. So now I should be able to go and cat root.txt. So biggest takeaway. Wow, we got some nice. Congratulations. Okay. So now we learned a few things today. I think today we accomplished more than any live stream we have done. We came from a web application, exploiting a local file inclusion from a JavaScript file that just showed us that we had subdomains. Then after we got subdomains, we were able to read, use through the file inclusion, Apache configuration files that told us that there was a .http pass file where we read and we found something that was encrypted, and we used John to crack the password. After cracking the password, we were able to sign in. We found a vulnerable web application with a. Then we looked up the exploit. We got caught a little bit by the exploit. I wasn't doing it right, but of course that's a good learning for all of us that exploits don't always work. After we exploited the exploit, we got reverse shell as www data. We needed to figure out npm with another Java, npm node. After that, we got in here and we had tar. I think this was packed with a lot of really good stuff that we needed to do. Now that we did that, let's spend some time looking at our noise here, because I know some people really like this stuff. First of all, let's get to know what we did. in Security Onion, we see our events listed here. In this case, let's sort them by count. All right. Nmap scripting engine is going to be caught no matter what. We already know that right now. So you can set up this Security Onion by yourself, by the way. Everything is free that I'm showing you here. Nmap is going to get caught, so that's not interesting. But this right here is interesting. This is us trying to access the etc password file. So let's drill down here and actually just read what we're doing. We did that multiple times. It looks like here. Let's open one. All right, so it's a 200 OK. And we can see a little bit here that it was somebody who was trying to access, and that was actually, as you can see, I can right click here and actually go to virus total. If I wanted to, I can go to Google, request pickup. I can exclude this, but this is just us, and here's the message right here for us going to, I'm going to request pickup for this one. I want to see what it looks like. And while that is happening, let's go here. It's the same identical data, just depends on your preference. I like Kibana better for this than Security Onion. Incoming basic auth password unencrypted. This is us probably reading that password. Let's look on page 2. What else did we do? That's the etc password. Let's go back. We did a lot of things, as you can see here. Some of these MySQL, they are from Nmap, so these are not really MySQL. This is us accessing that file. Let's see if we can actually see this file and its contents. I want to track down the hash that we found and that we were able to crack. So if you're a defender, this is what you'll be seeing to see if the person was successful or not. First, source IP address was our Kali Linux. Destination was our victim machine. And let's do that. We did the curl command twice. All right, so we see that this was Firefox. I was hoping to see some data here. Yeah, okay. As you can see, this is us. Yeah, this is a lot of noise here. At least we can tell from here. I was hoping to see some from right here. There was a get bash history. Was this derb? No, we didn't even use. Yeah, this looks like derbuster. It's a bunch of get requests here. This definitely looks like this is derbuster trying to access this. This is us brute forcing the site with derbuster. I was wondering why it's not showing me my data. Yeah. So if somebody was doing that with derb, you'll be able to quickly catch them that way. Then going back here, we just requested a pickup for an incident. So if you wanted pickup and be able to send it to somebody, you can download this file from here. This is Security Onion, and it's amazing that this is all free, right? Then if other people wanted pickup to read or understand exactly who initiated the TCP handshake and how did it go, what port was it, and if they like pickup here, you can request for it. In this case, we can see we started from 133 on this port, on port 80, going to our victim machine, and we can even see the data here. That's what we had there for pickup. So you can use Security Onion for that. Let's see if we have interesting data here. Of course, everything here is interesting. If you are defending your infrastructure, you wanna investigate every single one of these. Most of them are false positives anyway. They were tagged differently. Let's go to the hunt. My hunt interface should be able to sort by port. I'm just going to try to see if I can figure out my port 53 here. I see. So by using port 53 for my reverse shell, I didn't catch it in here, because I was hoping it would be here. I don't see my reverse shell with port 53. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that, because we did get our reverse shell and we used port 53, and it didn't get caught as a reverse shell here. So that is a nice, interesting find. That's an interesting find. So if you use one of these common ports, maybe this thing is not that smart. You need to be fine-tuned as well. Let me see if I have another interesting. That was HTTP password. What was this one? This is really high. Drill down on it. Password unencrypted. Which password? Okay. So we did, there was, that's interesting. Awesome. All right, so I did see that we caught a bunch of things here, and I'm just amusing myself by looking at my own traffic that I generated as if it's new. No, this is what we just generated, and if you're interested in really digging through this, you can even go to the packet level by looking for pcap as well. But as you can see, we can actually play around here and figure out what we did and what we didn't. What we need to be able to do. And in this case, we also had a curl command. Let's look at that. It's just curl for what? Destination IP for that. I think this is when we were going for the JSON package. Right. All right, so as you can see, guys, this is really fun. I think this is a best way to learn if you want to just dedicate some time, set up the lab once. We set this lab in a week of videos, and then now we can just use it. And if you have a server at home, that is the best. Platforms like TryHackMe and HackTheBox are really going to help you get your skills. But even though it's 2021, I still believe that having your own home lab is still going to give you that flexibility, like what we're doing here, being able to just spin up any machine and figure out the behavior like what we're doing. I think it's really fun. So let me look for one more that might be of interest. We didn't catch my reverse shell today, so next time I'm not going to use the I'm not going to use the port 53. I'm going to use the normal ports that gets caught. Yes, home labs do cost money, but I guess it depends on how much value you assign to your home lab. I think that my home lab has brought me more money than I've spent in it. I've gained better skills here in this lab than I would if I wanted to save that money for something else. Oh, this was brute forcing again. All right, so thank you very much for being here, and if you haven't, please subscribe and like this video so that others can see the video. But as you can see, we did learn a lot today. This was a medium machine. It is not an easy machine in any way, because we needed to string together a lot of things. But I think that's where we're going. After weeks and weeks of doing this every single week, I think we should be at a point where we move to these medium machines and actually be able to grow. So you should expect to see more of this. If anyone knows where I can find more Windows machines, I like to showcase them here. Otherwise, when I go back to Windows machines, we're going to be working on Try Hack Me or Hack the Box. Oh, Jerome Smith has a Mac Mini. You know, if you're going to build your home lab on Mac Mini, look at what is his name, William Lamb online. If you're going to use VMware, William Lamb has a blog where he talks about using Mac Minis. They are very expensive though. If you want 60 gigs on a Mac Mini, you'll be looking at over $800 or $1,000. Yeah, okay, let me find the hacking articles that I was sharing here. You need this in your notes. That's for the wildcard. And this Raj has a really wonderful blog, especially when if you really want to know things, go to this hacking articles. They do a lot of really cool stuff. Yes. Yeah, I think I agree with someone here who was saying that it's good to know how to hack, but blue team is where things are. I think most companies need blue teams, they don't need hackers. So it's really good to spend time learning defense, and that's what I do. All right, I'll wait here for another 2 minutes. If anyone have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, we can call it. What do you do with npm? I think it works with Node.js packages. BT says that paper teaming is where it is at. Yeah, I think that in a way, if you know a little bit about what we're doing here, ethical hacking, then you become really good at defense. You're able to create better rules. You're able to know what you are defending against. So I think a little bit of everything, meaning paper teaming, is going to be the best. But you want to pick a side, right? You want to be really good at least one thing. In this case, you want to be really good at defense and writing rules and detecting. That is the best way to do it. And any company, if you show up and you know both, I think you're going to be a valuable employee compared to someone who just knows how to read Splunk logs or Security Onion logs, but they have no idea how they were generated. I think you owe it to yourself out of curiosity to wonder, like, how does enemy behave in a network? How does a malware behave in a network? Maybe spin up malware in your network and look at it. Watch the packets in Wireshark or somewhere. Yeah. I'm just going through some stuff that you guys were talking about while I was going through everything here. I pay, someone asked if it's worth paying for Try Hack Me. I pay for Try Hack Me. I also pay for Hack the Box. And I'm also going to pay for this week OSCP Proving Grounds, OffSec Proving Grounds. So I'm going to be paying about $40 a month in all these platforms. I might have to stop my Hack the Box while I'm doing the Proving Grounds. But Try Hack Me, I would like to keep Try Hack Me because it's really good. Hack the Box, I did a lot of the machines there. And thanks Juniper for the super chat. I missed that one earlier, but I appreciate it, man. You just paid for half of my Try Hack Me subscription. Awesome. So thank you very much for being here. I appreciate everyone who is here, and I hope you learned a thing or two. Come back next week on Sunday, same time. We will also have another machine, and I hope you can set up your own lab as well and practice. Otherwise, thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.